In the community, since my first science picture storybook for children called My Mad Scientist Mummy came out, I noticed there was a gap where we don't have enough people knowing about what scientists do in a laboratory. Hi, I'm Rina with two surnames, Rina Wong and Rina Fu. So out in the community, I'm just labelled as Dr Rina for simplicity. So at the moment, I work as a lecturer at a university, and on my off days, I'm a mum and also a presenter, author, illustrator, working on a children's picture science storybook and doing a lot of presentations and hands-on workshops to share my passion in science with the community. So in my job at the university, I design what students are going to learn, including in the laboratory workshop. Also, as a lecturer, I have to teach them some theory. So I would design an interactive lecture. Sometimes I use songs, sometimes I use games to make it really fun and not boring to learn about medical science. In my other job, I also prepare workshops suitable for different ages, so for toddlers all the way through primary school and high school. And I even would teach grandparents how to use a microscope, which is a lot of fun, particularly to see that progression of someone who does not have a skill to having that skill. So for example, they become, wow, I want to do this, I want to be a scientist. Or, yes, I can use the microscope with both eyes, not just winking at it using one eye. And to see that transition of someone going from this level to this level in terms of their passion, their love, or their skills in science. I find it very rewarding as a teacher, educator. My mum was an operations theatre nurse in Hong Kong. She would take me in the back way of the hospital into the theatre room. I was learning about the digestive system when I was 3-4 years old with the technical terms, but to me it was just another new word that I was learning, and so I was hooked at a very young age. At the end of first year, my lecturer recommended me to a pathology lab where I worked as a laboratory assistant. And I also worked part-time as a kitchen hand and restaurant waitress. What I found was it was really helpful in terms of me learning how to manage my time. I finished my honours at Royal Perth Hospital, where I developed a test for measuring vitamin B2 in patients' blood samples. And so I was very encouraged to stay in research, which led me on to pursuing a PhD. I went on quite a bit of a journey because my first project didn't work out. And so I was very lucky to come across a mentor who supported me to keep going, don't give up. Ended up going into malaria research and loved it, did very well, and received a few awards for my research and presentations as well. So in terms of the kind of skills that I need to develop for my current job, well, we can look at things such as talking, because as a lecturer or as someone who's trying to share about what I do with the community, it's a really developed skill for me. Even just our daily interactions with our family members of different ages will provide you with really valuable skill going forward into science communication jobs, into lecturing jobs, into being a scientist, because you need to present your work. Most of the time they're presenting their work to a lay, we call it a lay community, where they might not have a science background. But if you can still help them understand your work, it's a winner. Also, dexterity of your hands. So if you're a musician, awesome because it will come in handy with your fine motor skills, driving microscopes or really intricate equipment. Also, your attitude is important because in my job as a lecturer, I'm constantly learning. Even though my students think, oh, she knows a lot, I can assure you there's so much that I don't know. And it keeps you humble. And so it's that attitude of, yeah, I'm ready to learn constantly through my whole life, even outside the classroom, and you will go really far with that attitude. So for those of you who are thinking about pursuing a career in STEM or becoming a lecturer like myself, or research scientist or author-illustrator scientist, I would suggest that you talk to people. So if you come across an auntie, an uncle, a science teacher, ask them, how did you get to where you're at? Everyone's journey is different and unique, and yours will also be unique. So don't feel deterred that you're not getting into the top 10 or the top marks in this science subject, so no, I'm too dumb to be a scientist. No, look at me. Like, I was not that bright in high school, but I just worked hard. I mean, I didn't duck chemistry, I didn't duck physics. You don't need to be the top to do your job well, because as I said before, your whole life is learning and developing skills. If you see someone doing a job that you really want to be, get in touch with them. If you don't know that person, email them. You can probably not stalk them online, but they might be on Facebook or Instagram. Social media can be useful in the right hands, okay? So use that for your own research and get to know those people that inspire you. I'm sure they would love to hear from you.